basic anatomical features such as antenna length and pronotum shape, recording in photo numbers and drawing.
This brings us to the final part of our research. Bioacoustics is the study of sound production and reception in animals, mainly focusing on communication. Since every species of orthoptera has its own unique call, it was our mission to record and catalog the stridulations, meaning chirps, of different species. The ultimate goal here is to send these recordings to Cornell's Macaulay Library, an enormous archive of biodiversity audio and video recordings. There, they will be added to a database of the researchers and entities.
We tried two different recording techniques, the first being capture, then record. We would enter the field, search for crickets, capture them, and then bring them back to the lab to be recorded. We would record them using either the box method or the cricket cage method at the edge of the forest. The second technique we tried was the record, then capture method. With this technique, we would enter the field with our recorders. We would approach the study lot that we had designated during the day and crouch, waiting for a specimen to chirp in the area. If this happened, we would use the recorder to take down the sound and then capture the specimen producing it.
Our first method of recording was suggested to us by Cornell University. They suggested that we use a sound box to try to record the stridulations of the orthopterids. We devised multiple experiments to test this method. Our first experiment, proposed by Cornell, was to leave the cricket in the box to chirp on its own. However, when this technique didn't yield any results, we had to go back to the drawing board. In this next video, you will be able to get a better idea of how the sound box works and how we detail the procedures of our subsequent experiments.
Okay, so we have our soundbox method here. We're putting a cricket in here. We're using these speakers to play back his recording, and then from the laptop, and then we also play two other recordings from the same species cricket in hopes that he will call back. Our soundbox is made out of foam board. We cut it into the T shape so we could fold it when we got here. Duct taped it. We put leaves and a mic inside, and then we have a little bit of soundproofing to cut down on ambient noise.
Here we have our three crickets that we have been using. We caught them in the field by tracking them down based on hearing their chirps, and then we were able to isolate them to an area, listen, record their chirps, and then when we found them, we could capture them, and then we had their sound and the actual specimen to compare to.
I isolated the chirps that these guys recorded, and we're going to play it back with the speakers, and we have a microphone that goes into the recorder and is on monitor duty to make sure that the guy's chirping, and then that's that.
Although we never succeeded in getting the soundbox to work, we still believe the concept is viable and provides merits that other methods do not. Some of the variables we were not able to test under the time constraints were time of day, barometric pressure, weather, and moon phase. We hope in future years that groups will continue to explore the box method by testing these variables and a rate of others we never even thought of. The box method is by no means exhaustive.
Because of the trouble we were having with the soundbox and the sheer amount of time spent waiting for each trial, we developed an alternative method to inspire the specimens we caught to chirp. This was the cricket cage method. The cricket cage method consists of taking a small mesh cage, placing an external microphone and an orthopter inside, hitting record, and leaving the entire apparatus on the forest edge to see if the specimen would call. We tried to fine-tune this method by adding leaves and natural materials from the surrounding area into the cage in hopes that the specimen would feel more comfortable as though it were in its natural habitat. Unfortunately, in the end, no matter how naturally we made the cage, we were never able to prompt any orthopterids to chirp. We eventually retired the cricket cage because we decided we would get better results either by using the soundbox or by recording the orthopterids we could already hear.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so right now we're just marking out a meter-sized plot that we're gonna come back to tonight and check for Polynothopteran. If we find them, then we'll be able to triangulate or figure out which one by using two people is calling.
And then we'll go with them, and after that, we'll track them down and match the species to the call. Yeah.
Don't be a windy. Go way out. You wanna dance? Yeah! Swing.
Now we're really going to dive into bioacoustics. This next video is a demonstration of how Raven works. Raven is the Macaulay Library's sound analysis software. In the rainforest, we use Raven to analyze and isolate recordings of our documents. It is a great program. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to make many animals for the project.
So this is Cornell's Raven sound analysis software. I have a recording from our office up here, and the way this works is the y-axis is frequency, so low sounds are displayed down here, and high sounds are up here, and the x-axis is time. These are seconds. So we're going to be focusing on these blips right here, so you're listening for 3 little beeps. But as you heard, it's a lot of background sound. So what I'm doing is I'm highlighting this call here. I'm going to mute all the frequencies except the ones that I've selected. See if you listen again. And then the original. So obviously you guys did a 1, it's a lot better. But if we zoom back out, there's obviously a lot more going on than just that one little guy. In fact, each one of these horizontal lines is a different critter. So this is the one we just listened to. There's one here, one in the middle, and this one up here is a big one. So there's a lot going on. So we're going to be taking a look at this one here. I'm just doing the same thing I did last time. I'm going to isolate. Take a listen. And back to the original. Another cool thing you can do with Raven is that you can slow things down.
So I want to slow this down to 15% of the original speed. So if you listen. If you listen closely, you can actually hear the tegmen going back and forth. And if we speed that back up to full speed, it sounds like this.
So this is all very cool, but why does it matter? Well, using bioacoustic technology, such as Raven, actually provides many benefits. We can use recordings like the one we were just working with to assess the biodiversity of an area. As you saw, it doesn't take long to count how many species are chirping on a recording. Also, in the future, a large enough database could identify a species in an area, but having to visually confirm by comparing chirps we hear with one we have already identified. Lastly, bioacoustics can be used to track the biodiversity of an area over time. We have a theory that every location has its own bioacoustic makeup, meaning each night in a given area, there's a symphony of animal noises specific to that place, based on what species inhabit it. To show you what I mean. If you look at the slide, the picture on the left is the recording from the demo video, and the one on the right is taken at the same place 2 nights later. As you can tell, they are very, very similar. It is our hope that next year Projecto will take recordings from the same location and compare them to the ones we got this year.
While in the rainforest, we were able to process 80 individual orthopterans. This is a great start to our species inventory, and we're in the process of identifying the species of each individual. However, there is no field guide to orthopterans in Costa Rica or any of the other areas in Central America, so we have our work cut out for us. Hopefully with the help of Dr. Peter Nescrepi, we will be able to identify as much as we can, and maybe even discover some new species that we can name after ourselves.
After making many changes to our methods, we found that the most effective way to successfully record a specimen and be 100% sure that it was their call was to go out in the field with a recorder and wait for it to call. Trying to get the individual to chirp while in captivity did not produce any positive results, and it took much more time to reenact the breed's natural habitat.
In the end, we were able to identify the stridulations of 2 species before we came home. They were both katydids in the family Tetragonidae and the subfamily Connocephalinae. Even more so, we're pretty sure that one of them is a meadowcatydid of the tribe Connocephalini. Visually confirmed while recording 3 specimens of each species colony, one of which was the video you saw earlier. I then compared the sound files and grading for the screenshots being projected now. We are currently in the process of organizing our data so it can be sent to Cornell in May.
In future years, we hope that project groups will more strongly consider the following things. First, barometric pressure at the time of capture, which seems to have an effect on calling patterns. Second, the weather or presence of a storm, which also changes the chirping patterns. Thirdly, they should consider working in teams no larger than 2 within the field because it becomes too cluttered and it is not as effective when searching for chirping individuals. And lastly, we look forward to the species inventory growing each year for many years to come.
On behalf of the entire team, we would like to thank you all for coming. We would especially like to thank our project leaders. Alex the Elephant Fennell, for his leadership and intrepid spirit. He wasn't afraid of anything.
Alex, Alpaca Sheepback, for his dedication to the project, including commuting from Yukon every week to prepare with us and leading us on always educational nights. That's a fact. Okay? It's not that.
Sean for always being there for us with advice and guiding and with his advice and guidance, all while never losing his childhood wonder or ADD.
We would also like to thank Wendy Skipper Wilshins for making this entire experience possible and always keeping us on our toes. Are there any questions?